All right. I think this should work. I don't know what's going on with the other thing. It doesn't. I think I have no. I have no clue. I'll work it out later. Let's see. Let me go where I need to be. I know folks will be coming back in a second. This is kind of crazy. Let's see what's going on with the questions. There's nobody there. Strange thing. Strange. All right, so that's working. That is working. All right, we're cooking with gas. So I will let people come back. I will move this over here and send this out. This is kind of crazy. Sometimes it works. Sometimes the live thing doesn't work. All right. Funny stuff. Or I will get into it in a minute. Well, I will just go ahead and get into it because people can rewind it. Starting from bottom. All right. Let's just kind of jump into this. Like I said, I was the day. Well, Amy's off this week. She's got some stuff she's got to do, so it's just me. So have your patience because it may be a little slow in putting stuff up. And I took a nap today. I know that's not anything earth shattering, but for me, it was something I needed to do. And when I woke up, I started seeing comments on this one particular video that were kind of blowing my mind because, like I said, today I got up, I did some stuff, I worked out. Then the nap monster took over, and I was just like, hey, I haven't really taken a lot of time off. Hence, yeah, weekends, taking weekends off. So if you are looking for responses on the weekends, hang it up. New policy, new corporate policy. Yes, we're going corporate. You send an email Saturday and Sunday, you will not hear from us Monday. We've been working like maniacs for months. Just because typically the weekend stuff comes in is pretty simple. So just letting you know if you're looking for something like that. And I will show you the things that I was looking at when I woke up because first of all, before we jump into that, I'm sleepy. Oh, if you notice, I don't have the light on because it's PM hustle, which means it's night. It's 11 o'clock, and I'm going to talk a little smackety smack and make some observations. Starting from the bottom and working your way up based upon some comments. But before we get into that, let me give you something pretty interesting. Well, let's go here. And let's go here. Here we go. This is the deal. This show is brought to you by hustlerskungfu.com. And until September 30th, you can get a hold of the course-wide bundle. What does that mean? You get all of this. You get everything. And there's more. You even get that and that. Oh, yeah, there's another page. There's going to be more. And that for $350. And wait for it. Thanks to a dude yesterday, there is now a payment plan that I will find in a minute. Well, that's the hustler everything. That's the deal. That's the plan there. And then let's just kind of go into all this other stuff. The links will be around. Essentially, there is now a payment plan. You can partake in that. And hold on a second. Let me just pop out of that. And okay, I should be coming back there. So what I'll do is find it so you won't have to look for it. But all the links and stuff will be here and it'll be below the video if you want it. And matter of fact, I'll just get into that at the end of the video. That way we'll just keep it crisp, because it's funny. We got a lot of people right now who are angry, really, really angry. I mean, just it's bad. Because I'm going to show you some of these comments that I was looking at that prompted this PM hustle. Because you had an AM hustle today, and now you're going to get the PM hustle. So I'll just leave that right there. Yes, I got someone's calling me right now. Can't get to that. We'll get to that later. But let's just jump into what prompted this PM hustle. Let's see. I'll show it to you. We'll get in there. Okay. It's this video right here that I put up this morning, and people are kind of going in. They've got some things to say. They've got some stuff on their mind. They want to talk about some things. And I was like, okay, we can talk about it. We can talk about it. But this is the reason I'm doing this. This is not, I'm not calling anybody out or saying anything. I'm just trying to, and I don't know why it is. That's not spam. That's not spam. Let's put that where it needs to be. For some reason, sometimes comments that are not spam will end up in the spam folder, which is kind of crazy. If it's got a link on it, I totally understand, but there's no link on it. And, she's a frequent contributor to the Hustler Mindset Project Station. Don't get it. They should recognize her. They should know what she's about. But let's go down. Let's go down. There's a lot of stuff going on. I like this comment. I've made my living in bank off the backs of the 1%. Think about that for a minute. The entitlement fucks won't understand, but others would. Never enough games. Boom. All right. Come on. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna talk junk tonight. There we go. And let's see. Let's come down to do. She's got a lot. Okay. Once again, this is the Dalalax, not a slam or call out or anything. It's more of an explanation and to bring some more stuff to the fold, because this is the statement that got me. Here it is. Eugenics is wicked. The 1% knowing what is best for the 99%. My issue with that is they do not allow us a chance. Okay. I'm going to break this apart, because I was going to put this long response, and I was like, hey, let's just do a PM hustle and chop it up and have a conversation. My issue with that is they do not allow us a chance. Okay, first of all, this is the power construct. You must earn power, take power, seize power, or inherit power. There is no allow. Okay, go into my video. I'm not a minority. And once again, I'm not trying to criticize you or call you out. What I'm trying to do is explain to you and other people is it's not about allowing you a chance. You got to make your fucking chances yourself, which, you start to address. Let's see. Give every child access to all the knowledge and let them fight it out. That is happening, and it's not happening. And I'm going to break that down. Number one, I don't have a degree, and I got a guy that I interviewed who has made millions from self-education, and he doesn't have a degree. The information is not hidden. The information is in books, and as you pointed out, it's here on YouTube, but this is the problem. Many people do not know how to learn. They do not have the patience. They don't have good study habits. They don't know how to learn. Like, give you an example. One of the reasons I took everything in my courses and books and audio is you sometimes need to listen to a lesson 3 to 10 times to get it. That's the reason that I've created that platform, because very few people are going to read a book 10 times. Very few people are going to read a book 1 time, let alone 10 times. But you need to you need reputation. You need to get your reps. You need to pay attention, because I I will show you something, and this is I'm gonna give you all kinds of stuff. Let's see. Matter of fact, I don't have to go too far for it. It should be okay. That's crazy. Let's go here. I'm gonna give you some. That's the Facebook group if you want to be part of it. Where the hell did it go that quick? All right. I thought I was going to give you something. Oh, well, hold on. Yeah. And it's on Vimeo. I'm just going to Vimeo for the sake of speed. But this is a very good talk by Ryan Leslie. He's in Germany, 2003, and he tells you some stuff. I have listened to this 5 times, and every time I listen to it, I learn something else from Ryan. I get more and more stuff. And essentially, you've got to invest time in learning. You just cannot hopefully get it once and go do your thing and learn something else. That's what's killing people. People just don't know how to learn. They don't know how to continue to pay attention, to continue to really, really drive. But let's go back to what I was talking about. All right. Now, give every child access to all available knowledge and let them fight it out. The knowledge is available, but the people want the knowledge in the form that it is, which is books, lectures, talks. It's out there, but people don't want to get it the way that it's delivered. It's in those boring ass community meetings. And let's see. I will go with this. I was seriously financially handicapped in my education, which came from inner city public schools and the church. I'm going to say the church hurt you more than the inner city public schools, because this notion of getting your reward when you die is killing people. Is killing, because, you know, everybody else has got their heaven here on earth, but you got to die to get your rewards, your spiritual, your Aretho rewards. And there's many people who are caught up in that. I'll suffer in this life, but when I die, oh, we go to glory. The church, and I got a big problem with the church. When I was in the boarding house and then was living in Decatur at the time, we had this conversation one Sunday morning. I kept saying that the church is one of the most dangerous things to the black community. And, you know, just like, no, you need Jesus. No, it ain't working. It's not working. You go to any black neighborhood, there's several churches, and usually there are more churches where the worst activity. So I'm going to say a bad public school education can be a handicap. I went to public schools, but I went to public schools when there was something called a high level of accountability. If you're asked to get the lesson, you got left back. That's what it was. That's how it happened. That's what went down. So I saw that and knew that if I didn't get my grades, I was going to get left back. And that shit was embarrassing. Shit was embarrassing. I had friends got left back once and twice. And it's just, I think it's better for the kid because you learn early on that there are consequences. So I do say that you're there, but it's social narratives and the church. Now, I agree with this. The leaders of religious organizations are in the 1%. The Catholic Church is the wealthiest organization in the world. Many people don't know that. Followed by the Jewish religion, then followed by Islam. That's where a lot of money is. Now, here's another part. The corporations lie and say if you start at the bottom, you can work your way up to the top. This is what this whole video, this rant, this PM hustle is about. This one line right here. You have got to decide what is your top. The typical American dream. Go ahead, go to college, get yourself a good education, buy a house, get married, do all of this stuff, and that's the American dream. That's not my fucking American dream. That never was my fucking American dream. My American dream was to start a business and live how I wanted to live, which I accomplished. That's my American dream. I no longer own a house. Probably will be getting one in the near future, but that was not part of it, because if you own a house, and there's nothing wrong with home ownership, but you have a serious issue in terms of liability, in terms of taxes, in terms of upkeep. There's a lot that comes with owning the house that keeps you trapped. You may not travel as much as you want because you can't get somebody to watch your house. And then after paying your mortgage, your taxes, and other stuff, you may not have the money to travel. And, to my younger folks, I'm going to pop out of this for a second. I'm going to come back. But to the younger folks, 16 to 30, that's what I'm going to call the younger folks, 16 to 30. Heed these words. Start a business as soon as you can. I don't care if it's a lemonade stand. Start something as soon as you can. I mean, do not even wait. No. Start a lemonade stand. Whatever you can start that soon as you can. Start gaining business skills in high school. Do not wait, because this is another thing. Going back to what he was saying about he was held back 3 years. And then I started to talk about some other issues, because when, I've talked about this before, but single motherhood is a big problem because let's identify it and give it the proper context. Can a woman by herself get a house for the kid? Yeah. Put food in their bellies every night? Yeah. And, make sure that they're safe? Yeah, could do that. Now, this is where the shit starts to go sideways. So many kids do not get that man lesson of responsibility. Fathers teach their kids responsibility. Fathers play with their kids roughly, which lets kids know there are limits. Moms don't do that. It's like, oh, no, don't do this. Don't do this. I remember throwing my kids in the bed. They would jump off, throw them back in the bed. They would jump off. We do this shit for hours. And they don't get that. And see, this is the thing that happens with fathers. Mothers are good for the baby stage and on the nipples and everything. But when that kid turns 13, when that kid turns 18, when that kid turns 25, then they start asking these other questions. That's when they come to dad. I'm going to tell you something real fucked up that my mom told me. It's like, if you get a girl pregnant, just bring the baby home. I thought she was crazy as fuck when she told me that. And I was like 15. I was like, you got to be kidding. And I was like, I'm not. No. No, we're not doing that. We are not. we are not doing that. No. And a lot of kids get that and worse. They get that and worse. But start your business, travel, create a 2-year plan. Let me just give you the format. I don't care what age you are, 13, 14, take some pen, paper, write that stuff out and say, I'm going to go to Spain, London, wherever the fuck you want to go. Write that shit down and then start working on it. Because if you start a business and fail, let's just be real about it. You start a business and fail, and then you go to college, your perspective is going to be so different. You're going to be so serious. You're going to be on point with your stuff. When I was in school, before I dropped out, I had 4.0. I wasn't playing. Other people were playing. I was in the military. I was stationed at Schofield Barracks. They were playing. I was serious. I had goals and ambitions and stuff. You'll be like that if you delay college and get some life experience under you and get the fuck out your parents' house. Get out as soon as you can. I know it's nice living with mom and dad and not having to worry about the bills, but you are delaying your maturation as an adult the longer you stay with your folks. And if you're 30-something years old, you're 35-something or 40-something, and you've been living with your parents for 2, 3, 4, 5 fucking years, to me, you're undateable. To me. That might be not someone else's program, but to me, I would not seriously date you, because if we were to form our own kingdom, you're telling me that you can't handle shit when shit goes wrong. I've been homeless. I got some real strong opinions on this. This whole shit with staying with parents when you're an adult is fucked up. I understand the economy's a bitch, but hey, at some point, if you want to be king, you have to do king shit. If you want to be queen, you have to do queen shit. And king and queen shit ain't living with the folks. That's prince shit. That's duke shit. That's the grand duke, the noble, the court. You are not living royally, living with your folks. Yeah, I've real harsh opinions. I remember someone was telling me that I didn't understand family because I thought that 2 adult people living in a house provided by the girl's mother, my exact word, they're sorry as fuck. Because, see, this is the thing. Living on your own, under your own power, means you may not be able to live in that nice house in the beginning or that nice apartment. You might be in some shitty places, but it's yours. And when you close that door and you don't want to be bothered, you have that peace of mind. But when you living with your folks, Hey, Bill, what are you doing? And you down there, I'll be up in a minute, Mom. 30 seconds, Mom. Who wants to be living with that? And don't even start talking about trying to date, trying to sneak somebody home to fuck. I know a chick, she was 32, and it just kept going like, okay, what's the deal? She said, well, I live with my parents. And it was just like, she was a 10, right? And she went down to a 2 instantly. I was like, if anything happens with this is just going to be a pussy situation. I can't take this motherfucker to the next level because this motherfucker doesn't want to go to the next level. She talked a good game. No. So when you are looking at that stuff, get out. Get yourself a house, rent a house, get yourself 3, 4, 5, 6 roommates. You're still living with people, but you're not living with mom and dad and your roommates. It's still going to be a situation in terms of dating, except on the younger demographic. Because I remember, fuck it, I'll just say it. When I was in the military, I remember there was 3 of us in the room. And what we did is we took our lockers, right? And we formed pods and shit. And we would open up the locker doors and they were like our own little rooms. And I remember Alonzo and Bill and all 3 of us one weekend had chicks in there and we were fucking. And that's the shit you do in college. I know you do it. We did it. It's just like when you're younger, that shit doesn't seem to be that much of a problem. But the minute you get older, the whole notion of fucking with someone else in the room is a little, but you don't think, I guess just because you're glad to be fucking. I'm just glad to be fucking. But I remember one time Alonzo was with Sergeant Jackson, who I couldn't stand that motherfucker. He hated me and I hated him. I was singing the Hate Barney song. I hate you, you hate me. I wish you get hit in the knee. I mean, I was just hated this motherfucker. So I had my girl Lisa in there, and then Alonzo had this motherfucker in this room talking for 45 fucking minutes on a Saturday morning. I'm over there with Lisa. Lisa's with me. I'm like, if he comes in, I'm getting busted. This motherfucker can't stand me. But fortunately, he leaves. And I look at Alonzo. I was like, don't you ever do that shit again. You know, I can't. And like, yeah, no, not that gold tooth motherfucker ain't all right. He is the fucking Mossad, the key, the say, fuck it. He's fucking Genghis Khan with a gold tooth. That's who the fuck he is. But when you start to get out and build your life and do this stuff, you are going to grow up much faster. You're not going to grow up that fast in your mom and dad's house. It's not happening. It's just not happening. And you got to get out and do some stuff. You take your lumps and fall down. Now, this really ties in with starting from the bottom and working your way up. Essentially, when you're young, when you can sleep all day or be up all night, do whatever you do and still look good, this is the time for you to fuck up as much as possible. No one else is going to tell you this. This is the time, 16 to 25, fuck up as much as you can. And take risks, make mistakes. Everyone's like, be safe. Because see, this is the thing. 16 to 25, you have so much lifetime elasticity that you can fuck up and do all kinds of shit and recover from that. That's your time to fuck up. That's your time to do dumb shit. That is your time. But you have a lot of people who are in this rush to grow up and, follow, quote, the American dream of getting that house and the 2.5 kids and the dog and stuff because of the biological clock and having your kids early versus you're having kids late. Get out, get something, get up, get out and get something, as Outkast said in that song. Because the thing is, if you're 16 to 25, you have opportunities that I did not have at 16 and 25. You could literally start $1 million company in that time frame. No college, self-education, using YouTube. You can do that. That's real. That's not a pipe dream. That's not some bullshit. It's very, very real. And if you do that because you're fucking up, you're out there doing stuff, you're making mistakes, you're creating this paradigm of experiences. Because I connected some dots. One of the reasons that I was able to go from storage auctions to this stuff was I had a lot of fucking experience about a lot of stuff. Was I a master of everything? No, still got a lot of shit to learn. But I had a working knowledge of a lot of stuff. I mean, I could build a damn house if I wanted to. I've hung sheetrock. I know how to put up studs. I know how to do the roofing. Yes, I've done that shit. And the thing is, every time you do those things, if you do them young, when you're my age, you can look back and take those experiences and craft wonderful stories, connect dots in the news. There's so many things you can do by having that experience. But if you're just at home playing video games, pew, 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 yeah, mom, dinner ready. It's fun while you're doing it, but you're going to grow older one day and you're going to realize how bad you fucked up your life. I'm not saying don't play video games. Instead of playing video games for 10 hours a day, play video games for 2 hours a day. You still get to play and take those other 8 hours and put into some other shit, because I understand, especially if you're a dude, it's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But the thing is, once again, 16, 25, you've got a paradigm, you've got stuff that I didn't have. You could literally create a fortune in that time and never work a job in your life. Never work a job in your life. There are people I've watched on YouTube and social media for the last 7 years. They've never had a job. They've built businesses. They've never had a job ever. Now, I know how I'm built right now. If you threw me in corporate America, I would probably get thrown out the first day. Probably get fired. Just that's what's going to happen, because I am so used to being me. I'm so used to being who I am that I don't know how to put on a fake smile. I don't know how to conduct myself in the politically correct manner that's dictated for working in a corporation. It's just, you got to do that shit, whether you want to or not. You got to do it. All right, so hold on a second. I'm going to go and see if anyone's left any comments, because I was trying to do it with the other software because you can see the comments. So you don't have to switch out. But for some reason, let's see. This is the chat. This is the thing. When you do a Hangout, there's 3 components. There's the YouTube where it's playing, where you can answer the comments. People can leave comments on the Google Plus page, but you can't respond to them. So this is where the live chat. Let's see. Moonlighter, I'm 55 and see clearly now. Take charge and build your own empire. It's essential. A disappointing day in corporate life. Boss is not grounded in reality. I'm ready to escape. Let's see. It's just like, I've been there. So if you're new to this and the other thing didn't work where the live chat's like right there under the video, you have to come here, watch it, and then I will answer your questions here. It's kind of strange, but it is the way that it is. It's definitely the way that it is. And it gets to be real interesting. Really, really interesting how these things tend to go down. But let's go back to this. This is a good question. Do you get involved in local politics? This is another part about, starting from the bottom, working your way up. Those long board, you go to public access and you see the people talking about zoning and shit. That is where power is created. When I was growing up, I lived really close to this place called Simmons Machinery. Mr. Simmons, what I didn't know, was a developer. He had not 1 helicopter, but 2. Actually, I was like 12 or 13. I got to ride in one. I know my mother would have freaked the fuck out if she knew. She never knew. And that is, all right, just to give you a lesson, when a building goes up, everybody wants to talk now. When a building goes up, hold on a second. Okay, when a building goes up, there's a lot that goes into that. There's an impact study. And for the impact study, they have to go to the zoning board and say, look, we want to put this 4 or 5, story building up. I'll give you a great example. If you've ever been to Buckhead, and if you're going down Peachtree Street heading toward Brookhaven, you'll notice that all of the tall buildings are on, if you're going, they're on this side of the street. And there are no tall buildings on this side of the street. And the reason is there's a neighborhood. And when they wanted to put those buildings of a certain height up, the neighborhood band together and said, no, You're not doing this because we don't want a pool that's shaded all the time because you want to put up this 30-story building. So they can only put buildings of a certain height on that side of the street. Now, I know it seems like a simple thing, but that is where the power comes, because I still have his number. I might get him on the show. His name is Mr. It's like, what is it, Boss or Bill something? I forget. Mr. Biggs. That's his last name. That's his real name, is Mr. Biggs. It's Patrick Biggs, and he does the bonds for putting buildings up, because when these developers do all this stuff, because all right, first let's start with Mr. Simmons. Mr. Simmons was a ground level developer. He had all these earth movers, the trucks that were like as big as your house, because he would buy the raw land and he would put the infrastructure in, the sewage, the plumbing, the electricity. He would do that stuff. That's what he started with. And then the other people who put the building up, they would come in. And that's where the impact studies and stuff come in. Well, I know you're going like, what does that have to do with anything? It has to do with everything. When you put up a building, you create legacy. I sold some furniture to AMR one night. I was up there during the install, and Richard Bowers, who owned this, I think it's 50-story building, 40-story, 50-story building. He owns that building. The rent for that building is 7 figures per month if it's full. So that's 10, 12 million a year. And he came, and I was by the window and I was looking out, and he came over, he introduced himself, he extended his hand, and he's like, yeah, I own this building. And then there was an education there, because I talked to him. And the thing is, if your family, and once again, going back to the younger folks, if you and your friends get together and start pulling your money and you buy a building, that could be your retirement. And 1.2 million to $3 or $4 or $5 million bill, that could be your retirement. That could be the retirement of your kids if you keep it in the family. So that whole thing about experience. When I was selling office furniture at that level, trying to sell the corporate 500 companies, corporate 1,000, understand a lot of them have contracts, national contracts with Haywood, Herman Miller, Steelcase. So it was kind of hard to get in. But I was one of 5 salesmen in the city of Atlanta. There was 5 black salesmen, 5. And I knew 2 of them, and I knew of a third. There was 5 of us. And a lot of people was just saying, well, you can't get in. And this kind of goes back to starting from the bottom. I got in because I wanted to get in. It was that simple. I'll tell you the story. I was at NeoCon, and that's where I met Mario and some other people. I was an exhibitor for Rent-A-Crate. And then this girl, they had open bar. So people were like, at the end of the convention, folks were tired, then they were drinking, they had ate. So, tongues were loose and hands were roaming. It was that type of environment. And this blonde, I'm not going to say her name because we're still friends, but she was just like drunk off her ass. And then she was just talking, and she looked at me and she's like, I made $185,000 selling furniture. She became my BFF, became my best friend. I was like, look, at that point, I knew that she was drunk and what was going to happen. So I became her protector, not so much because I wanted to protect her. It's just, I want to protect my future investment, because she had something that I wanted, and I didn't want bad shit happening to her. So we hung out quite a bit, and I learned a lot. Let's see. Here are some questions. I will go forward with the story and I'll come back to the questions. So I studied under her. She introduced me to some folks, and that's how I got in the office furniture game. Just being at a convention. Because see, this is the thing, and I'm going to talk to my peoples, my brown peoples, because there's a lot of you who understand that if you want the fuck in, you can get the fuck in. They can't keep you out. They're not going to stop you. Then there's others, some of you who are like, I'm black, I'm fucked. I'm a woman, I'm fucked. I'm gay, I'm fucked. I'm a kid, I'm fucked. No, you're not. You are listening to these social narratives. You're believing in you're going to fail before you even start, based upon some really superficial and fucked up criteria. Let's see. All right. What do you think? This is Titus Family Books. What do you think about making money with children's books? Adult comic books are a hot seller. Children books are a hot seller. If you got the talent, put it out there, you can make a shitload of money. Building an escape plan, FBA. Hey, do whatever you got to do. Billy Monk, how do I sign up for your email list so I can know when your live sessions? Go under a video, not this one because there's no information on this Hangout, and you'll see the link. And typically I do them and I email later because sometimes I do 2 or 3 a day. But yeah, sign up on that list. And that is the questions. Shaq Santiago, that's pretty interesting name. But essentially, you can do quite a bit today. And this whole thing, with Drake starting from the bottom and working your way up, there are many people who don't think that's possible. And I'm going to get back into the pathology and the dysfunction that prevents that. And I'm going to go right back to single motherhood. And when I was talking about the lessons that I learned. My situation was a little different. I had 2 parents, my grandmother acting as the male figure and the one with the money and she actually stayed home. She taught me to read. So I got that until I was 11. So I had that stability until I was 11. Also, I had a lot of men in the neighborhood, a lot of men, a bunch of men that I saw. Everybody wasn't hitting on it, but the ones that were close by, they were pretty solid. So you get this kid who grows up, and once again, they may, the mom might make bank. They may be living in a $500,000 house. They may be living in $1 million house. I've dated a chick like that, and she had a son and everything, and he was a little bitch because she was developing a man that she would have loathed to date, because you got to set limits with kids. Like this simple stuff. Like, okay, if you're a woman and you want to have a man in your life, one of the best ways that you can have a man in life is that you set a firm bedtime of 8 o'clock. But because you're single, there's no one around, you let the kids do whatever, you let them sleep in the bed. So when that dude shows up, then you got to kick the kids out of bed, and they're not going to be mad at you. They're going to be mad at him because they're going to see him as an intrusion in the life because your ass could not stay in the bed because of your loneliness. So you've created this dynamic that makes it hard for you to pair up. And it's just a self perpetuating cycle. So 8 o'clock, kids in bed, no jumping up, firm. You will be able to actually have a conversation with your adult friends at a certain time because your kids are in bed. But a lot of folks don't believe in bedtimes for kids, telling their kids no. So this is what happens when this kid is growing up, male or female. They see how mom handles situations, and they in turn in life handle situations like mom. Now, understand, if you're a woman, hear me now. Do you want a man that's going to handle shit like you handle shit? No, you're not. And that's what these kids are doing. That's the reason you have so many feminine men. And I've always been somewhat rugged, rough around the edges. And I've had people who I just wasn't paying attention early in life, because when I was just myself and I was in Hawaii, I got a lot of love from all kinds of people. Then I came to Atlanta, and then there was this whole thing about being a gentleman. This is my thoughts on that. I will be nice to you if you're nice to me. I will respect you if I respect you. I don't have those barriers because you're a woman that you get special perks just because you have titties and a vagina. And if you're old, you get special perks. Because the thing is, if you treat me with respect, I'm going to treat you with respect. But you go sideways on me, I don't care if you're a woman. I don't care if you're fucking old. I'm going to tell you exactly what's on my mind. And people have a problem with that because of positional leadership. Because I occupy this position of being a woman, or I occupy this position of being the elder, you should give me all of this respect, whether I deserve it or not. And that's where the fuckery starts, because you have a lot of people who are playing those games. I used to work with this woman by the name of Mary. She couldn't stand my ass because she was just fucked up to me, and I was just like, give it right back to her. And she's just like, I'm older than you. And I was like, yeah, what's that got to do with your piss poor behavior? And, a lot of people just don't like being challenged on their piss poor behavior, because there are many people who think that once they reach certain age benchmarks that they can act anyway, and then they're still going to be respected, which is fucking silly. It's totally silly. And you get those people. And that's one of the reasons I'm talking to the kids, because once you develop yourself, put together some stuff, you are going to develop a different kind of attitude. Because like my video this morning that I put up, stop thinking about the 1%. Once you get into entrepreneur pursuits, you are too busy on your thing to be thinking about the 1%. That's not even on your radar. You don't even wake up going, well, it's the 1%. You don't even think about that. You don't even, it's not an issue. It's not part of your DNA. I don't wake up hating rich people. I don't wake up hating folks who have more than I do. I look at that like, you've got that. How did you do it? How did you do it? How did you make that happen? How did you do that there? How did you build that? How did you create that level of wealth? What did you do? And once you become a creator, and the thing is, it doesn't take a lot of success for you to appreciate success. It doesn't take a lot. It just takes a few wins, and then you stop looking at people with hate in your heart because you ain't got what they got. Because this is my biggest problem with all of the talk of the 1%. There's a group of people who run the world. Business owners, corporations, church, they run the world. That's reality. But the thing is, they're at the 50,000 foot level. Okay, most of us are at the 30-foot level, and then there's the 100-foot level. So there's so many layers that you can operate that you don't even fuck with them, that they don't even pay attention to you. You could become a fucking billionaire and they wouldn't notice because they're on other shit. That's how much room you have to operate. But you could clearly become a millionaire. You could become a business owner. You could control your destiny. You could buy a fucking small town and run that shit and be like fucking JD Hogg and the Dukes of Hazzard. Run that shit, own that shit. You could do that. And they're like, we ain't interested in that. You have so much fucking room. But there are people who are like, well, the average CEO makes 330 times more than an average worker. So if you don't have a job mindset, that's not going to fuck with you. Just like, fuck it. I got my own business. I mean, seriously, I don't care. I just don't care because it's not my reality. Because once again, if you're 16 to 25, start your own business. You are not going to care about that shit. If you're 25 years old, let's say 16, you start your business, right? You're 25 years old. And let's just say you're making $90,000 from your business at 25, one that you've had for 9 years. You ain't thinking about the 1%. You ain't, they ain't even on your radar. You hanging out with your friends. If you got married, you're playing with your kids, you're taking vacations, you living your damn life. You're not even 1%, because I have a certain group of people on my Facebook page. I just no longer will engage. I'm not going to unfriend them and nothing like that. It's not that serious, but their mindset is so steeped in entitlement that someone should just give power. I'm like, this is a brutal fucking world. Nobody just gives you power. You earn it or you take it. Another thing is when you become a business owner, because I was at the post office today mailing out some shirts and stuff, and this guy just fucking lost it. He's like, this shit's stupid. You got to do this. And like the lady said, well, I can't handle. It's like, let me call a supervisor for you. Just go down to the end of the counter and he got so frustrated he just left. But he was an owner. He was an asshole. He was clearly an asshole, but he was an owner. I can tell the way that he walked. He was just not used to being told no. And it was just some funny shit. And I just like, he needs a hug today. He really needs a hug. Because another thing about power, this is something else. Once you gain power, you got to be really careful with it because it's very easily abused and it's very easy to lose. If you restrain your power, you get more of it. But when you just go fucking buck wild, you lose it. You just lose it. So how do you get power? Like, okay, you start from the bottom. Let's just say you live at home with mom and dad. You got a boatload of student loan debt. And you're trying to figure out how the fuck are you going to get out of that situation? Number one, you're not going to earn your way out of it with 2, 3, 4, 5 fucking jobs. Not quickly. Maybe 10 years from now. I've done that. I've worked 2 and 3 jobs for 10 years. And I can tell you from experience That is not the way to get a lot of money fast. It's not. You look good. It's like, I'm a hardworking person. I got 3 jobs. Pat on the back and all this other stuff. And you have high stress level. Your health is going to suffer and you're going to miss a lot of your life. So this is what you do in that situation. You dial back. And when I mean dial back, if you got a car with a note, you get rid of that bitch. You get yourself a beater. $2,000, $1,500, $2,000 car. If it runs and gets you to 0.8 beat, that's all you need. When you're poor, you can't be fucking picky. I see people who living with dad and mom got fucking $400, $500, $600 car note. You're not going to win playing the game like that because you're not even playing the game. You are a chess piece in the game and the game is playing you. Get yourself a beater. Don't care who laughs, whatever. Get yourself a beater. Number 2, get you an attitude job and get you a real job. And what I mean about that is you're going to get a part-time job and you're not going to take that money to pay your student loans. You're going to have your main job to pay that. And your second job, you're going to save every fucking penny. Save, not pay down this main job. The money goes there. Second job is your war chest. Every check goes in an account until you get to like 4 to 5 grand. At 5 grand, you have plenty of money to start an internet business or even a physical product business. Plenty of money. But the thing is, you need to get that amount together because when you start doing your business, there's going to be a time where you're not making money. So you do that, you start the business and you still drive the beater. Then you set another benchmark of when I get to 30,000 with this business, I get 10, 15 grand in the bank. Then I'm moving out of mom and dad's house. You write it down. You have a written plan. You have these goals. That business, if you do it right, it's going to get you out that house quicker than working all these jobs. It's just this. That's just reality. Just reality. Let's see. Is there any more questions? Let's see what's down there. Oh, all kinds of folks up. Raking Profit. Gandalf is in the house. A lot of people don't know how the internet works, Shaq. Ruben Pareda, I believe, Jr. Love the attitude, man. Thanks for watching. I mean, seriously, you cannot win playing the game. And see, this is the thing. Going back to the single parenthood dynamic, the average man loses 10 to 15 years in the process of self-fucking discovery that can be used to build an empire. So that's the reason I'm saying get started early on the business. Even if you're in that fucked up family situation of a single parent, it is fucked up. You need both parents. You need both. Anyone that tells you different, they're lying to you. You can start working on that business to get your emancipation because this is the thing about business. Business doesn't care if you had a daddy or not. Business don't give a fuck if you had a dad. It does not care. Money doesn't care if you had a daddy. It does not care. Does not care at all. So you can go ahead and start working on that and building yourself. Because the thing is, because I was talking to a friend and he just feels really, really cheated because we talk on a really deep level and I gave him the game because, you know, like I said, I have a relationship now. So I'm not out there in the field anymore. But when I was out there in the field, he saw what I was dating and he could not believe it. And he's like, you're not taking these chicks out. Because I'm all up in that hindbrain. You press those hindbrain triggers, you don't have to take them out. You don't have to spend money. And also you get, in my opinion, a better class of woman. Like I said, my girl, she does stuff for me, like this monitor thing, because everyone's been like, you know, all day it's like, what kind of watch is that? It's like it's a monitor. It's a Fitbit thing. Fitbit Surge. She bought herself one. She's picked me one up. It's been like that since day one because of my dating mating process. Like in disruptive mating, I have a process on how I pick people. You have a process on how to go to college. You have a process on how to go to get a job. But many people think relationships should just happen naturally. And if they don't happen naturally, then there's something wrong and God didn't want. Bullshit. It's a process. I hack dating. I don't go to bars. I haven't done that shit. I'm not on Match.com or Plenty of Fucking Fish. I don't do that shit. Either I've got my process, which worked really well, or I have enough confidence. If I see a woman in public, I'll walk up and introduce myself. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you go ahead and walk up and introduce yourself, you're going to separate yourself from 99% of the dudes out there. Because a lot of dudes will not do it. They'll wink. They'll hope she'll come. And I don't care what social engineers got going on. You are not going to eradicate 2,000 years of DNA encoding. You're not. You can be that knuckle dragging Neanderthal and you're going to get more pussy than the nicest guy whose mother. Oh, God, Timothy. Girl, Timothy's so nice. He loves you. He rubs your feet. Girl. And that's your mother, right? And then you go out into your girlfriend. It's like, yeah, he's so nice. He's got a little dick and he makes good money, but I'm bored. I heard that conversation. I was at a table and I heard that conversation. There was a group. This is how women talk about you when you're not there. And you're like, I'm a nice guy. You got to like me. Your mother like, drag those knuckles. Drag those knuckles. I'm telling you. I mean, it's just, it is how it is. I'm not even going to say it's sad or good. It is how it is. That is the reality of life. And that's also part of starting at the bottom, because one of the things that I think people try to do, and I think I was guilty of it early in my life, is you try to replace in your romantic relationships that fucked up family paradigm that you didn't have. So you try to, that's why so many people just jump into these relationships, have kids, and then it goes bad. And once again, guilty, it happened to me. And well, that's not really true. I made it happen. I made some poor choices. Let's take a responsibility for that. And then I learned from those lessons. And that's what I'm giving you, because like I said, 16 to 25, the things that you can do today are insane. You don't need a job if you can hustle. If you keep hustling, hustling will keep you. I mean, seriously, will keep you. I mean, it's amazing what you can do today. Amazing. You know, it's kind of funny. I'm wondering why my encoder, I don't know if it was Coder or Google or whatever, it wasn't working tonight. Let's see what we have in here. Here's again, if I'm married but going through disruptive mating, there are many great concepts in there. That's a serious course, and I'm going to add more once I finish up with a lot of this other stuff. I'm a star, Drebo. What's early? I'm 27 and wishing I started 10 years ago. Would you say 27 is late entrepreneurship start age? I started at 32, so no. I mean, 40 is good. 50 is good. At some point, if you can come to this realization that you've been lied to, I will agree with what the person said on the comments on the 1%. You've been fed a bunch of false social narratives. 27, and I know that's what I'm saying. If you're 16, start lemonade stand, Instagram, try a bunch of shit. Because the thing is, you're 16 living at home with your parents. That shit's legit. You're a kid. Work that shit. Exploit it. Hey, mom. I need this PayPal account. Could you set it up for me? Wink, wink, wink. Rub her feet, cook her dinner. The dad, your dad. If I mow the lawn, would you open the paper? I mean, you go to them like that. Make that shit happen. Get it going. Get it popping now. 16, because let me show you. Let me see if I can find it. Because these guys, and this is what I'm talking about. This is Flipkart or Flipcar. Damn. Flycar. Essentially, these two kids created this business while they were in high school. When you leave your car at the airport, you give it the option to rent it. They got like $10 million in funding. They were in high school. They haven't been driving that long, and they created a business predicated on people driving and renting cars. Is it Flipkart? Let's see. I'm going to see if I can find it for you. Kids. The business was like 4 or 5 years old when I found it, and the founders were like 21 and 20. So they started this stuff in car, and when they're in high school. Let's see, rent your car, airline parking. Well, I'm gonna find it. This was started by kids. White car. I knew it was an F, something like that. I was like, okay. It takes me a minute. Like I said, I napped today. It takes me a while to wake up after I take a nap. I don't know why. This business was started by kids in high school. Yep. Read up on it. Don't take my word for it. Research it. They were in high school when they started this business. Let's see. Flight car funding. How much did they get? Probably had to go to TechCrunch. Hold on. Let me do this. This is the stuff I research all the time. That's why when I say, I don't know this. Yeah. When I tell you this stuff, yeah, 2013. Let's see. Angel List, flight car nabs, 13 million in 2014. I knew I saw something like that. Oh, wait a minute. I messed up. Yeah, this is who founded this company. And hold on. Here it is. Which was founded at 17. Founder of flight peer-to-peer airport car sharing. He was 17. 17. I know some of you are like losing your minds, like, what? This is the stuff. Let's see. Here's another guy. I've actually talked to him. I need to talk to him again. He's 22, I believe. He raised 30 mil. He got 7 mil in 2012, which is when they launched it. He was 20 years in 2000. Yeah, he's 22. And he's raised a total of $30 million altogether. Because I was telling somebody, because someone was fighting with me on my Facebook page, and he said that all the millionaires he knew, and he said quite a few, everyone had a degree or two. And I said, I know a bunch of millionaires who have no damn degrees, and they made their millions within 2 to 7 years. And he was just blown away. And I just started popping people in the feed of who I knew. It's like, I know this guy, I know this guy, I know this guy. The conversation was over. He was like, because he didn't know. There's a lot of people who are still stuck up on that paradigm of you got to do the whole go to school, then work. No, you don't. No, you don't. And I'm trying to rid as many people of that bullshit mindset as possible. It's possible. Let's see what's going on there. Who else is in the chat room? All right. Gets to be really interesting how they do this stuff. Moonlighter, absolutely wanted to speak my mind, but can't do it and keep the job. Just over broke. Who else is in there? Okay. A lot of people are up late at night. Like I said, I've been doing these things for a while, but normally I do them undercover, and then I do them privately, then release them. Then I just start seeing who would just show up, and more people are showing every day. It's pretty interesting. But the American dream is not dead. The definition of what the American dream is, that motherfucker's dead. Dead, and should be dead, because the American dream is what you want to be. And it all starts with economic empowerment. It starts with creating a business, creating some kind of situation for yourself that gives you the ability to live the life that you want. I have a lifestyle business. I mean, my needs and requirements are not that great. Number one, be able to do what I want to do. Number one thing on the list. Check. Number two, live where I want to live. I don't want to live in the fucking hood. Check. Number three, enjoy life. Check. Freedom is very, very expensive. There's a lot of things you have to do for freedom. Freedom ain't free, so to speak. But many people are, like I said, this is still, I don't know what the hell happened with this video, because like I said, I was taking a nap and I woke up. Then I saw that it was getting a lot of action, and it's still getting a lot of action. I don't know what's going on with that. It's pretty interesting. There's a lot of comments. A lot of things are going down with this. A lot of stuff. And I'll probably answer these either later or tomorrow. But the whole point is, you cannot be letting the 1% or really your perception of 1% prevents you from being successful today. And that's the big thing, because I get a lot of flack because I don't believe in marching. I didn't believe in the Occupy Wall Street movement. Because the thing is, if you don't have any money, you don't have a voice. I know people are like, oh no, it's true. You don't have a voice. You don't have any money. You don't have a voice. It's just how it is. It's fucked up, I know, but that's how it is. You need to have economic empowerment so you can have choice, options, and a base. Because, well, this is some of the stuff that happens to me. And once again, I'm just a regular dude that has a business. I'm like a regular dude. When I go to the bank, they know who I am. When I was doing a lot of stuff on one credit card, I was pulling the money out the ATM and I was paying my credit card off every day, to the point I went by the other day. They all know who I am in that bank. They all know. It's like, hey, how you doing? Because it's really a typical behavior for someone to be paying $400 to $800 a day on a credit card, because I was running a lot of business stuff through it. And I was paying it off as soon as, like, I would charge and I would pay. I would charge and pay. And then people are like, well, you can't pay a credit. I have made 30 to 40 payments on a credit card in a month, plenty of times. You can do it. I've actually got one credit card. I've got a credit on it because I overpaid it. Because, when you pay online and you pay the statement balance, and I forgot I had paid it. So there's like a $1,400 overpayment on it. It's still sitting there. So all this stuff that people tell you is like, you can't do this. Because I had someone's like, well, the best way to get credit is don't use it. I use the fuck out of my credit cards. I get a lot of points. There's one I use mainly. I would say, if you're going to get a credit card, you're going to do a lot of volume. And if you're an internet guy, you can do a lot of volume when you're doing a lot of stuff. You can get American Express, probably the best point systems there is. And after that, everybody else. Because I got like a Chase Sapphire. I mean, it's not stellar, but I bought probably stuff on Amazon using points for about 3 months. So just saying, if you're spending, get yourself a point card, because let's talk about this, because this does fit into from starting from the bottom. All right. Stop using your damn debit card for everything. Stop that shit. Stop it. You do not have the protections you have with a credit card. Use your credit card. Pick one. Do this. Get one card, preferably with a local bank. When I say, it could be one of the big boys, but they got to make sure they have a local branch, and use it like your debit card and pay a sucker off every day, every week, transfer money into it, and use it like you're going to have develop some discipline. Because I see people using debit cards, and I'm just like, want to go, no, stop, stop it. Because the thing is, especially if you're an internet guy or you're doing Amazon FBA and you're not using a rewards card, you're stupid as fuck. You're spending 10, 20, 30, 40 grand a month and you're not using a rewards card. I don't know what's wrong with you. And I talked to someone and she's just like, well, I just don't want any debt. I'm just like, you are literally leaving money on the table, spending, because I think she was doing like on her debit card about 40 grand a month. So she was leaving thousands of dollars on the table by not using a rewards card. I mean, maybe 10 grand that she left on the table. That's a trip. That's a trip to Paris. First class flight. People scared because of false narratives and other stuff. So it gets to be really, really interesting. So let's see if anyone's in there. Any more stuff? Let's see. Reagan. Louis the Cell. I was lying down. A little voice told me The Godfather of Hustling was live on YouTube. Oh, that's funny. The Godfather of Hustling. That is funny. Lazy Chips. So what keeps you motivated? Like, what makes you take the first step and keep going? I often find myself at times to be very motivated one day, overthink, then lose interest. You got to have a purpose. You got to have a purpose that's so big that you don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. You're going to do your purpose. I'm a star Drebo. Where do you draw the line between business and personal life? I find myself glued to the computer 24/7 and turning down social gatherings I usually go to because I'm all interested in making money and growing my business. People say I'm going to burn myself out, but I'm just doing what I want to do. You're 27. This is the thing. Everyone has life fuel, right? You've got so many hours and days. Now, if you go to the Millionaire Fast Lane, he talks about this. I would say create benchmarks. Let's say your income goal from your business is 5,000. When you hit 5,000, say you hit 5,000 and 3 weeks in, you reset your goal, but you also treat yourself. It's like, okay, I hit my goal. Next 2 days, I'm hanging with friends. You're not going to develop this work 50% of the time, play 50 until you get to a certain level of income. That's just not going to happen. That's a pipe dream. There is no work-life balance when you're grinding and when you're starting from the bottom. There is no work-life thing. I remember someone told me who hadn't had a job in 2 years that she felt like she needed a vacation. I was like, from what? You've been on vacation for 2 years. You haven't worked. She's like, I've been stressed out. I don't give a fuck. You vacation from what? So that's how you do it. You treat yourself when you hit benchmarks. That way you can have somewhat of a social life, because if you're trying to grind, hanging out every week, that's not going to help you. And I'm going to tell you a dirty story. There's this girl, right? She works second shift, beautiful girl, freaky as fuck. And she got off like 1 o'clock. She lived all the way fucking way up in Ackworth. And once again, she's fine. And I was just sitting there thinking, I got to get up, meet, and she's never home on time. So she gets off at 12. She'll get home like 1 to 1:30. I'm sitting there waiting. Then we're going to fuck for 2 hours. So it's 3 or 4 o'clock. So the next day it's just fucking shot. It's fucking shot. I'm just worthless. I'm like, all in the fog and shit. And I remember she called and said, you coming over? And I said, no. And she's like, I got stuff to do tomorrow. And like, you're not going to be home on time. I already know this. I'm like, I mean, we can hook up this weekend. She got real pissed. Because see, once the thing is, how can I say this? I'll just say it. Once you get your man on and you get your thing, you'll reach a point where you'll just get tired of pussy. You'll get tired of certain kind of pussy. You'll just be like, And like I said, she was like 27, freaky as hell, would do anything, but that was not going to go anywhere. And if she got home at 10, probably would have been on. But that whole thing, and it's like, okay, am I going to hurt my business fucking her, or I'm going to stay home, get a good night's rest, and do my business, and the business win? So once you get to a certain point, that won't even be a question. It won't even be a question. This is pretty interesting, because the thing is, I wonder how many of these comments are going to stay when I turn this thing off. And we got Rakin, who's going across the country, making money. I almost did that, making money on the road. But when I was doing the reality show, or interviewing for the reality show, they kind of pitched that travel around, and I was just like, that's not real. But that's what people want to see. And I had to understand that what people want to see and versus what's real are totally different things. Totally different. Let's see what else is in here. But yeah, there is no work-life balance when you're grinding in the beginning. There's nothing. Another thing that keeps me motivated is freedom, because I was periscoping quite a bit, and then I made a decision to stop periscoping and to do YouTube more, because YouTube is more complicated than Periscope, which means there are less people doing this. Like, I tried to do the regular live event, and for some reason it just wouldn't work. And I think it's the software that I'm using. So I may buy another one, and I'm going to tell the company that their thing is jacked. Let's write them a nice little letter, see what they will do for me. But you got to take advantage, because like I said, here's a business lesson for you. Like, everyone's doing Periscope, right? Everyone's on Facebook. Everyone's doing Facebook marketing. And the thing is, YouTube is the most powerful form of social media there is, because it's searchable. Instagram is searchable, which makes it powerful. Facebook's not searchable. Their search is jacked. It's just really, it's not searchable like YouTube. Twitter's not searchable like YouTube. And what Facebook's doing with their video is not searchable. See, this is the power. I got a video I made damn near 6 years ago that still makes me money. You know of any Facebook posts that make you money 7 years later? So that's why I hear all this stuff about, Facebook videos going to crush YouTube. No, they're not. Facebook has the ability, Facebook has the will, and Facebook has the money to be a very competitive threat to YouTube. But from what I've seen, they have not executed in that level. Because see, this is the thing. YouTube and Google are like this. Facebook has kept Google out. You think that Google's like, oh, we're happy with that shit? Facebook has created its own ecosystem of 1 billion users. Powerful shit. A lot of people to market to. But Google is a bigger monster, in my opinion, because Google does more shit. My money's on Google. I don't care what anyone says. My money's on Google. If Facebook and Google had the duel, I think Google will just bitch slap the hell out of Facebook because they do more shit. I think Amazon is more in line to do stuff against Google because Amazon does a lot of stuff. Amazon, you see Amazon, all those products, that's just like a part of the empire. There's Amazon payments. There's Amazon hosting. There's so many things that they do. And Facebook, I would think, is getting on that. But just to say that Facebook video is going to be a threat to YouTube, not anytime soon. I don't see it because they're talking about there's this payment plan for creators. Facebook's got a lot to do because the thing is, for them to make video really work, they're going to have 2 algorithms because they throttle reach. So if you're going to put up a video, they're going to have mad reach. And it's just fuckery goes around. But think about how many videos have you seen on Facebook that have been of substance, that have been embedded? Think about that. All right, let's see what's in here before I shut this bad boy down. Let's see who else has popped in. People are having conversations. All right, seems like a good day. Good day. All right, for those of you who stayed, hold on a second. This is something I started because of a comment yesterday on one of the videos. Is it here? Boom. For those of you who want it, and this ends September 30th, I'm doing a payment plan. Now, this is where it gets fun because I'm having fun. There's 3 different options. You can do $120 a week for 4 weeks, and you're done. 2 payments of $250 for 2 months, you're done. Or we'll see how the 14 payments, $30 a day goes. I just threw that in there just to see what would happen. It was just an experiment, just to see what happened because a lot of people were asking for it. All right, and here's another business lesson. Why did I do this? 120, 250. At these levels, I get a different kind of client. I could do $25 a month and get a whole bunch of people, and then my back office end will explode, and it's already heavy now because I get a lot of questions. I get a lot of people who want more than they paid for. That's the reason it's like that, because what's going to happen is there's the day's the 16th, so there's 2 weeks left for this program. A bunch of people are going to sign up for this the last week. I see it coming. I already know it's coming, but that's the beauty of life on the internet. So that's the deal. You get everything and all with the payment plans. You don't get your hoodie until your last payment. So that's how that goes. And let me see if there's any more questions before I drop out of here. That's 22. That was 15. Let's see. We got Louis Gandalf talking. Louis the Seller, my marriage is kind of rocky because sometimes I turn down sex when she wants it because I'm busy. I'm like, no, I need to finish this chapter. I might wind up writing a book on how to get kicked out, divorced, and lost everything after 25 years of marriage. You've been married 25 years, unless you're doing something real crazy, she's probably not going anywhere. Probably not. Okay, that's it for PM Hustle. Hopefully answer some questions, and we will see how this goes. All right, thanks to everybody that came out tonight. I will see you in the next session.